On today's episode of Identity, founder of the Katlego Movement Tsholofelo Kongwane pops by for coffee. We take to the streets of Soweto in commemoration of the 1976 June 16 uprising. What's Appening features the review of a brain exercising app and a movie called The Young Messiah. And we wrap up the show with a track by Sipho the Gift.
I am an individual with an imagination. My inner faith illuminates innovations. In a space with infinite inspiration, I was born free from all incarceration. Incredible, living infallibly, intelligent, outshine with my inner being. This is me, impeccable as ever been. I am you, you are me. This is my identity.
Molweni babukeli beMzansi for sure. Namkelekile kwi-Identity. Inkqubo yenkolo ezahlukeneyo lutsha enincedeni uqala iveki yenu nakhekile emoyeni. Viwe Gxwala. As we continue to celebrate Youth Month and in the spirit of the 40th anniversary of the June 16 uprising, today's episode is filled with stories of young people playing an active role in creating a better society. Just the kind of content that we've become synonymous with. Ndiyathemba ukuba seniphethe iti okanye ikofu esandleni senizilungiselele ukwakheka emoyeni ngendlela emnandi. Kokuqala masidibane nondwendwe lwethu olugqamileyo. With a staggering 26.7% increase in youth unemployment here in South Africa, the guest joining me today sure does play a huge role in the decrease of this percentage. Tsholofelo Kongwane is the founder of the Katlego Movement, a non-profit organization that has created over 200 jobs for unskilled and previously disadvantaged youth since its establishment. And it doesn't end there. This organization has also assisted the Department of Environmental Affairs to create jobs for over 40 street hawkers, which in turn helped improve their sector-related skills. With all this and more on her profile, I couldn't pass up an opportunity to invite her for coffee and a chat. Tsholofelo, welcome to Identity.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, Tsholofelo, so your name means hope,
Yeah.
Which makes me want to find out more about you. Tell me about your upbringing.
Oh, well, I was raised in a community called Davidton, and specifically a place called Skoti. And I have two parents that are still alive, in fact, incredible parents that have devoted part of their life to helping me becoming a better person. But in my upbringing, my family, like most black children, a whole community raises you. So there was a time my mom went to school and my grandmother took in and she taught me how to be a girl. She was on that, yes. And it's okay, and it gave me discipline, right? And then I had my cousin who was slightly older than me, but she was really that girl that the whole family spoke about. And I had her on my bedside, and she really helped me become an incredible woman, so I had her to look up to. And I have a very loving family. My family prays and eats together. So, and that's really helped define my character. And I think it's also helped me to learn how to be social, and to learn how to share information and insight. We go to church every Sunday. This is like the code of conduct if you're part of my family. Every Sunday you have to go to church. You can go to your own, but after church we all have to go to my grandmother's house. This is every Sunday. And then we share on our week's experiences. And the sharing and the open-ended family has helped me to become who I am. So that's my upbringing. I come from a loving family that has helped shape me and is still going to continue to help me become an incredible woman.
Jeez. So you speak in depth about spiritual concepts that you learned from your family, especially speaking about prayer, going to church every Sunday. How has spirituality shaped the young woman that you are today?
If anything, I think spirituality has helped define me and give me a sense of discipline. It's really, you're not always born knowing what's wrong and what's right. And I think going to church and with my family has taught me to know what is acceptable and what is unacceptable. And the bigger part is knowing how to make decisions that will not encumber your future. So rather making decisions that will only enhance your future. And if not, also being willing to say, hey, I have stepped out of the commandments, for example, and this is how I step back into line. And why do I want to step back into line? Because as a human being, as a soul who has departed on the earth, what you want to do is to contribute to your space, to contribute positively to your country and the people around you. So if anything, I think the discipline and the knowing how to make the right and wrong decision at the right time, from my family, from my church, from religion, and from spirituality has really helped me to know how to play my part.
And you've definitely played your part by starting a non-profit organization called Katlego Movement. Please tell me about it and what inspired you to start it.
So, well, when I started the organization, I was still studying. So, just to give you some context, I was studying a BCom in economics, and in the interim, I thought, how can I actually, before I give economic policies and I give advice, how can I actually do something about the economy? How can I set up a little system where I stay? At that time, I was living at my grandmother's house, so I started in Davidton. Okay, guys, what can I do? I don't have much money, right? How can I make something out of my space? And then luckily, you know how the universe works. Once you start thinking in the right way, another door will open. So I met up with a friend of mine who's actually my cousin's friend. And he was like, I have this idea. Why don't we start an organization? Just a movement where we'll try empower young people, right? And see how we can also make a living out of that. Now the focus was, now let's empower youth, but let's use a sector that doesn't require lots of skills, but will allow them to actually gain some form of activeness in society and learning some sort of a skill. So then with Katlego Movement, what we did is then we had some program that we had us alongside the actual company, which wasn't like a life orientation, but really going into what are your life goals? How do you ensure that you actually meet your life goals? And how can we help you? What are the skills that you can contribute to our organization that can help you become a better person? And then what we did is then we started our waste buyback center, and we then got funding to actually buy machinery to do palletizing. This is now when you take the plastic and you convert it into a new material. This allows the guy who does your bumper to actually use that content that we produce to produce his bumper. The guy who makes your jeans, he would take a part of our content and do that. And if you're about to get a new weave, hey, the plastic is from there. So, yeah.
You know, what I like about what you're talking about, Tsulu, is that young people don't think anything about waste management. How important is it for young people to understand what waste management is and to take care of the environment?
It's really important at this point in time to always take care of your environment, because you want your children to benefit from that, and you want your children's children to benefit from that. And any other thing, you want to simply be able to live. You don't want to be jumping over dirty stuff. You don't want to be struggling for clean air. So don't get to that space by just making really easy, good decisions every day.
And you worked with the Department of Environmental Affairs with creating over 40 jobs for street hawkers. That is impressive. How did that come about?
So it was the agreement that they had for us. So in our expansion program, we had needed a bigger site, and what they said to us is that they would actually fix up our site, but we have to then empower 107 guys from the community, and then we have those guys actually work and build the program. So they all had different functions. The ones were given like work to actually do the paving. They were taught how to do paving. Some were taught how to do health and safety checks. Some were taught how to do the other parts of it. So it was just 107 guys that were, some did also the waste as well, so would collect waste around the area. So that was the short contract that we had with the department.
And what words of inspiration would you give to a young person who's really inspired by you and wants to follow in your footsteps?
My a couple of words of inspiration would be, nothing in this world is meant to be. You create it. You decide. You decide if you're going to build a building. If you all look down where the recent new big mall was built, a few months back we would drive past that N1, N3 highway and there was nothing. Somebody had an idea, they believed in it, and they created it. A few years back there were no cars, right? Somebody believed in automating and that there'll be something about it. A few years back, people didn't believe in being presenters, right? But now there's a career out of that. So my few words of inspiration is, nothing is meant to be, but you have the power to create what you want to.
Okay, and speaking about creation, right here on Identity, we've created a quick word game, all right?
Okay.
So you need to answer as quickly as possible. All right, are you ready? Okay, so the game is called Most Likely To, and you need to answer with finishing off the sentence.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So if you trip and fall in public, you're most likely to
get embarrassed.
If your friend buys you a gift you don't like, you're most likely to
Return it.
If a taxi driver cuts you off, you're most likely to
Hoot back at him.
Okay. If one of your shoes break on your way to an important meeting, you're most likely to
Model my way to it.
Okay, then. If your car breaks down in the middle of nowhere, you're most likely to
Ask for help.
Okay. If John Legend knocks on your door and asks for water, you're most likely to
I'll sing the water to him.
If you would win R1 million, you're most likely to
Find a way to grow it.
Okay. And if you're invited for an interview on identity, you're most likely to
Accept the invite.
Tolu, you are such an inspiration. Keep it up. Thank you so much for joining us on Identity.
Thank you.
Former American President Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, "We cannot always build a future for our youth, but can always build our youth for the future." Tsholofelo is certainly making a valuable contribution towards building Mzansi's youth for a more prosperous future. We wish her well as she continues to inspire and empower those around her. It's time for a short break. When we return, we head to Orlando Stadium in Soweto to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the historic June 16 uprising. And don't miss our media review segment, which features a brain exercising app and a faith-based movie. See you in a bit.
This is my identity. This is my identity.
Welcome back to Identity, your favorite multi-faith youth show, right here on SABC 1 Mzansians. I'm Viwe Gxwala. Thank you for staying tuned. This year, South Africa commemorates 40 years since the 1976 June 16 uprising, which took place in Soweto. This historic event began when thousands of high school learners took to the streets in protest against the Bantu Education Act. Gxwala wrote in and invited us to an event aimed at celebrating and honoring our fallen heroes. This is what he had to say. Hello Identity team, I'm Gxwala and I'd like to invite you to an event which will be held at the Orlando Stadium in Soweto. This event is in commemoration of 40 years since the 1976 Soweto uprising and to honor all the learners who took part in this life-changing historic event. There will be many activities to look forward to on the day and I hope to see you there. Regards, Gxwala. Hayi ke, eso sisimeme esingakwazanga ukusala. Iqela lethu lalibhekisa eSoweto ukuyodibana noSiyabonga ukuyobhiyozela lo mcimbi obalulekileyo. Masijonge ukuba kuhambe njani na.
This is my identity.
What's happening, Identity viewers? This is your boy Sia. Now, to June 16th, 1976 actually is a day that is violently attached on South Africans' minds, and it actually took a very, very significant turn in the South African history. And today, I'm out here at the Orlando Stadium, literally a few kilometers away from where the actual march and protest actually took place. However, today is all about positively actually influencing South Africans towards a road of reconciliation and also forgiveness. So why don't you come with me and see what we have in store for you today. Ngicela ungitshele baba ukuthi kahle kahle lo suku namhlanje libaleke kanjani.
Lo suku besithi senza isiqalo so kube khona i-platform i-foundation esizosebenzela kuyo ukwakha ukuhlanganisana kwabantu bezwe ngoba siyabona ukuthi into ilifa lobandlululo lwangaphambili lizohlala lungeze liphele ngaphandle ukuthi thina amabandla simele ngenyayo into ukuthi abantu bahlangane bonisana ukuthi ukubuyisana kusho ukuthi wenzele ukuthi abamhlophe nabantsundu bakwazi ukuthi babe nezinga elilinganayo imfundo iphakame kumuntu wonke.
How important is it for us to reunite and be united in such a day as this?
If June the 16th was the rupture but also the foundation out of which we're able to come to a common democracy, then we should say we not only look at the pain of 1976, but also look at the contribution of 1976, especially because we also, as we commemorate 40 years of 1976, we're also celebrating 20 years of the Constitution. The 1976 students were actually coming to the stadium. We have now arrived at this destination. But what does this destination mean for us? It means we're starting another journey.
I want to know, how important is education?
Education is one major instrument that deals with inequality and poverty. We have to broaden the base, democratize education, make it accessible, meaningfully and systematically and seriously.
What is the significance of this very event?
Well, this event is very important because it's an initiative of the church as a precursor to June 16 to bring prayer, an intercession on behalf of the people of South Africa, but also to ensure that they are able to bring international delegates to Johannesburg to be part of a process of building peace.
How important is it for South Africans to actually be educated about the importance of this very day?
It's very important because, in fact, today is the start of a movement. It's the start of a movement by our church leaders that are saying that they would be bringing their congregations into the process of building our nation and ensuring that we're able to achieve long-lasting peace and reconciliation, and that this reconciliation is also about building prosperity.
Please tell me, what exactly are you doing today at this event?
Well, I decided to participate today because I feel like today is a very, very important day. It shows you how you shouldn't live in the past and that you should be here today to make the future a better day.
Now, I want to know, why did you choose to attend such an incredible event?
I think the message behind the whole event about uniting South Africa, going forward with the youth, is very positive, and I'm all for it.
Definitely, and I know that you had a role to play. Tell us a bit more about your role.
Basically, I did a reading, about the pledge, about what we're aiming to achieve for going forward with the country, and hoping that the young people can follow.
What did you learn, Namhlanje?
I learned that the youth of 1976 played a very huge role for us, youth in Namhlanje, and that we are very fortunate and that we must get very well educated. What is taste here, Victoria?
What message did you take from today's event, and today
what I learned is we should celebrate the people who fight for our education. Yes, and to celebrate them, it's a huge honor.
I want to know, how important is it for us as young people to attend such events?
It's very crucial that young people are part of the national events, in the first instance because it helps you appreciate your history, it helps you appreciate your heritage, it helps you appreciate the reality that we faced as South Africans and the need to celebrate where we've come. I think in many ways we should celebrate the fact that our youth are standing up and saying they will be counted and they'll make a contribution to the solutions of this country.
These songs of freedom.
Man, what an awesome and very insightful event this has been. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and thank you so much for watching I-Dentity. I know that it's very important for us as young people to go out there and actually learn a lot more about what happened back then, and so we can appreciate the youth that actually fought for us. So right now, from myself, your boy Sia, it's goodbye, and it's back to Viwe in studio.
Thank you to Viwe Gxwala for sharing such a wonderful story with us. The significance of this day cannot be overemphasized, as it's a day that shaped the beautiful country that we live in today. It's because of the young people that took part in the 1976 protest that today we all have access to a fair and standardized education system. Mhlawumbe nani ninalo ibali ningathanda ukwabelana nathi ngalo kwaye ningathanda ukuba siqobe apho uhlala khona. Saziseni ukusibhalela i-email ku-identitytvshow@gmail.com. It's time for one more break. When we come back, we head into today's What's Appening segment, which features the review of an app that will help improve your mental skills, as well as a faith-based movie about a boy on a journey to discover the truth about his life. We'll be right back.
This is my identity. This is my identity.
You're watching I-Dentity right here on Mzansi's #1 channel, SABC 1 Mzansi for Show. I'm your host, Viwe Gxwala. If you've just joined us, here's what you missed. We started the show with founder of the Katlego Movement Tsholofelo Kongwane. We then took to the streets of Soweto as we commemorated 40 years of the June 16 uprising. Now it's time for this week's media review segment. This is What's Appening. With today's fast-evolving technology, we often find that we rely on these modernized developments to do the thinking for us. Today's app will help you exercise your brain and improve your mental skills in a fun and entertaining way. It's called Mind Games.
The Mind Games app is a collection of brain exercising games to help enhance cognitive abilities. To get started, select the Games List option. This gives you a variety of games to choose from, such as math operations, mental flex, verbal concepts, and memory match. Select your preferred game and read how-to instructions and then play on. Learn more about your preferred game by selecting the information icon. On completion, each game gives you a standard score, a raw score, your accuracy percentage, as well as a percentile rating based on your age group. Select the training center icon for access to unlimited game time so as to maximize your progress. Check your scoring for the games you've played via the score history option. If you'd like an overview of the app or to find out what the theory behind the games is, select the About icon. Put your brain to the test and have fun while exercising it with the help of the Mind Games app today.
Now that's a definite must-have and I can't wait to give it a shot. Now on to our next review. Today we check out a movie which serves as an interpretation of what the life of Jesus as a child might have been like. It's called The Young Messiah. Let's take a look.
One morning my room filled with light. And it spoke to me. It said that from my womb would come a son. You, named Jesus.
The Young Messiah is an inspirational movie that is based on an Anne Rice novel titled Christ the Lord Out of Egypt. The movie tells the imagined story of 7-year-old Jesus Christ and his quest to understand his divinity. When the young Jesus realizes that he's different from other children, he looks to his parents to help him find answers.
Inside you. Until your Father in heaven shows you the time to use it.
There are rumors of a boy born in Bethlehem. You have your assignment.
When news of this gifted boy reaches King Herod, the young Messiah's life is at stake. The film stars Adam Greaves-Neal, who plays young Jesus, Italian actress Sarah Lazzaro as Mary, as well as Sean Bean as the Roman centurion Severus. If you're looking for a scripturally inspired movie for the whole family, then be sure to check out The Young Messiah.
Who are you? He's just a child.
He is not just a child.
We've come to the end of today's episode of Identity. We hope that our guest, insert, and reviews have left you spiritually content and motivated. If you have a positive community story to share with us, let us know by sending a detailed email to identitytvshow@gmail.com. We're also active on the social media scene. Search for Identity TV Show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Today we play out with a track by the talented Kimberley-born rapper Sipho the Gift called Phanda More. From me, Viwe Gxwala, and the Identity team, have an awesome week. See you again next Sunday right here on SABC 1 Mzansians for sure. Goodbye.
Used to live and survive off the hand-me-downs. Now I'm planning on handing that money round. Only the family now. Work to my family now. For my brothers and sisters to help me down. Now I'm looking for love and it can't be found. In the heart and the midst of the Amazon. Ain't got time for no haters to Babylon. Ain't got time for no doubters to tag along. Cause my vision and focus is hella strong. And I'm planning on proving them hella wrong. I'ma drop all these hits and they better bomb. I'm that #1 horse, you should better bomb. Music and studies, that's 2 kinds of hustle. Raps and produce, man, that's 3 kinds of muscle. Do this for us, man, that's we kinda hustle. All of this work is